Hello everyone, this is another video in which you will learn that how you can create methods in C Sharp. So method is a container which contain a set of instructions which are frequently used within your code. For example, if you have to add two numbers, then you have to frequently apply the mathematical operation of addition in many different places of your code. Or if you have to display certain sort of things, like if you have to display some results or transcript, or if you have to take some input from the user, so you have to frequently use a small set of instructions frequently within your code. So for that purpose we create a small container called methods, and we put all those frequently repeating instructions within that container, and then we just only call that container. Anywhere we have to use all those set of instructions, we just only call that container. To that container, the C Sharp programmer called the name method. So this is our previous code. Now we want to create some set of instructions. For example, I create an integer value 1. Value 1 is the variable name, integer is its data type, and I create another variable which is value 2, and third integer value which is result. I'm going to change its data type to double, as you already know. Now I will call the user that you should insert some number here. So I will write console dot read line value 1 equals to. Now I am going to display this as an output. Write line and then value 1. Everywhere when you complete a set of instruction, you should put a semicolon here. Now there is an error, and the error is because of this line of code. Now if I run it, there is no error. So after this line there is some error. I'm going to look into this error. Okay. This line of command will take an input as a string, so the string cannot be stored within the this variable. So I'm going to write a command and then I'm going to run it. Now you can see it can get input from the user. Now if I run it again and I put some value here, you can see. So this is the input which I have given, and this is the something which this line of code has displayed. You can see these are 3 lines of code. First I get some input from the user. If I convert it into double, let's see what happens. Because my input is in the format of double, let's see what happened. 45, and it has resulted in 45. So I am going to display something here. Input I'm going to display something to the user. Enter first value, then after that the user enter its first value. After that I'm going to ask the user to enter second value, so the user will input second value. I don't want to display these things here. Then there will be a mathematical operation, result equals to value 1 plus value 2. Now after that I am going to display something to the user. Value 1. To that I am going to insert a plus sign. Value 2 equals to, if I miss something you can just post your comment that I have made some mistake here. Now when I run this code there will be error because I have not inserted the plus sign here. Enter first value. The first value is 34, the second value is 23, and the sum of 34 and 23 is 57. Now I am going to repeat this set of code for multiplication. I'm going to repeat this same code for the multiplication operation. So enter first value, enter second value, and then I'm going to put here a multiplication sign. Now if I run it, okay, there is some error. In order to debug this error, I'm going to comment these lines of code and then I run it. So there is again an error. Oh, there is a declaration of variable which repeated in my code. Once the variables are declared, we don't need to declare them again. So I'm going to run the code. Enter first value 45, second value 3. So the sum of these two values is 48. Enter first value 2, the second value is 4. 2 multiplied by 4 equals to 8. So these are two different operations. If I have to use these operations within my code, I can just create a function and that function will perform these operations. So I will create a method. So I'm going to create a method for the addition operation. You can see that the static main function started from here and it ends here at this place. After the static main function end, I will create another static method which will result within some output, and format of that output is double. So there is an addition operation. I'm going to, so this is the container where I will insert all those instructions which get repeats. Here I will put all those instructions which git repeats within my code. So these are the two variable, value 1, value 2, and the results. So I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to cut it and paste it here. So these are the variable. I'm going to create another method for the multiplication operation. And now I am going to copy these lines of code which are used for the multiplication operation, and I am going to put it right here. If I run this code, oh, there is a mistake. I will create them as a void method. I don't want to return anything, because if you have to create instead of void, if you write some data type, then you will have to put the return function here. Now when I run this, you can see there is again an error. I'm going to rectify this error. I'm going to call this function here. In order to resolve this error, I will make some correction here. I'm going to comment this function in order to see that which method is so the error is within the second method, static void multiply. Okay, now I'm going to run this code again. Addition. I'm going to put a semicolon here. I'm going to run this code, and you can see that it asked me that to enter first value, then it called me to enter the second. Now you can see that within the static main function there is nothing, there is no any code, but I have just called a set of code. I have called a method, and that method has executed all set of instructions which were contained within that method. For example, this is the method of addition. When I use this call operation, I used to call this method by its name, then the compiler comes and execute all that code and present it as an output which was written here in this method. If I call another function, let's see, so I run this. So the static method is this one. Can see there is some error. So enter first value. Oh, the problem is that problem is here, because this method don't know that which variable have been declared in the first method, because it has no any relation with this method. It has relation with the main method. If I declare some variable in the main method and I give it as an input argument to that method, then it will be able to use it. So now I'm going to call this second method as well. Enter the first value, enter the second value, and the sum of both values is 7. Enter the first value, enter the second value, and the product of both values is 9. So this is our main method. This is our first method, which is for the addition operation. This is our second method, which is for the multiplication operation. Here, this is the second method. I have used the first method, which declare 3 variables, get input from the user and add them and present the result in the console window. The second method declare 3 variables again, and then it get input from the users and multiply them and present the result in the console. So I can use this set of codes which are being contained in these methods. I can use it for multiple times. For example, if I have to use this method again, then I can use it for multiple times whenever I like. So when I run this code, first this call operation will be executed, which asks the user to enter 2 values. So I am going to enter 2 values. Then after the operation of this method is completed, it will execute this method, and all the instructions within this method will be executed, which asks the user to enter the second value, and then the product of these 2 values is 49. Again, it will run this method, and it will ask the user to insert 2 values, and the sum of these 2 values is 14. 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. The first value was 7, the second value was 7, so 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. Again, this method will be executed, which is for the addition operation. So 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. Now this method will get executed, and it asks the user to insert some number here. 6 plus 8 is equal to 14. So you can call method frequently. Whenever you like within your code, you can call the method. I can do some other operation, like if I have declared variables here, I will comment the second method because I am not going to use it for now. So I will remove these things. Now I have declared all these 3 variables within my main method, which is value 1 and value 2, and then the result. I will just only perform this operation within my main method. I'm going to ask the user to enter the first value, and then I'm going to ask the user to insert to give me an input, a second value as an input. Then after that, I'm going to give these 3 variables as an input to the addition method. So the first variable contains some value inserted by the user. The second variable contains another value which have been inserted by the user, and the third variable is empty. So when these values comes here, these are the input arguments. So these input arguments will be used up here and in this method. So I'm going to use them here. The data type of this variable is double, so I will write double here. Now if I run this code, there is an error. I'm going to resolve this error. Okay, now I'm going to resolve this error. So I'm going to comment this, and then I'm going to comment this. I'm going to run it. So it asks for the first value, then it asks for the second value, and then it doesn't do any operation because I have not called the addition operation. So now if I static void addition, these are three variables. Okay, I am going to make it easier for you because the third variable insertion making problem. So I have created two variables, value 1 and value 2. I get user input in these two variables, then I call this method which is addition operation, which is for the addition operation. Value 1 and value 2 will be inserted in these variable, which will be added, and the results will be stored in the double variable, and it will result in an output. So I am going to put two values, which is 5 and then 6, and the result is 11. The same goes for the multiplication operation. I'm going to insert two values here. I don't need to redeclare them, these variables. I don't want to get input from the user for these two variables. Now I'm going to call this method, which is for the multiply operation. I'm going to call it here. I'm going to give them the same input which was inserted by the user. So now you can see that when I insert value 3 and then 4, the sum of 3 and 4 is 7, and the product of 3 and 4 is 12. So both operations are being performed for these two values. So you can create more methods here. Just follow this operation and you can create more methods. You can also return some value here, like if you write double result equals to addition operation, and you change the data type of here to double, and you declare a variable, and then perform some operation here. I will write this operation, this output in the main function. So this will perform the operation of addition, and the result will be stored here. So I will just need to write the return function. Now if I run this, here is an error. I'm going to solve this error, a mistake that I have. Now it asks a value from the user, 3 and 4. 3 plus 4 is equal to 7, and 3 multiplied by 4 is equal to 12. So now I have given two values as an input argument. It has been processed and the result has been stored, and then the result has been returned into this variable, and the display, the output has been displayed in the console output window. The same operation can be performed for the other method. So in this video you have learned that how you can create method. Then I have transformed that method to get input from the user. So the function which I have called, it get input from the main function, and that is being processed and displayed in output. Then after that I have changed that method to get input from the main method and return some output to the main method. So there were three different type of operation which I have teach you in this lecture. The first thing is that how you can create method, then how you can create method which just only process something and display some output. The second thing which I have teach you is that how you can create a method which get input from the main method, like how it you can create a function or a method which get input from this main method. These are the values which this method has got from the main method, and these values have been processed and the display has been presented on the console window. Then the third thing which I have teach you that how you can create a method which not only get input from the main method but it also returns some result to the main method, and then that result is being displayed in the console window. So these three things you have learned: how to create method, how to create a method which get input from the main method, how you can create a method which not only get input from the main method but also give result to the main method. Thank you so much.